Romania has a new cash cow. But this is a story of oil and gas, not milk, one that will impact on Europe's future energy security. In the depths of the Black Sea, new discoveries have been made that could redraw the continent's energy map. At the headquarters of OMV Petrom in Bucharest, we learn more. In 2012, its offshore explorers found a huge deposit of natural gas. This summer, they hit the mother lode, tapping into the biggest oil reserve to be discovered in Romania in a decade.
We just made a discovery, and I have here a sample, and that's Marina 1 well, which indeed is giving us that confidence that the Black Sea is a potential for Europe. The hope is that by discovering and developing the gas in the Black Sea, Romania can become independent from imports in the gas area. But even more, if the quantities, the volumes will be higher, that sort of discovery can lead also to covering some of European needs.
To see for themselves, our team had to undertake helicopter crash training for the potentially dangerous flight to the offshore platform. Romania's good fortune raised hopes in Ukraine of similar offshore discoveries. Moscow's annexation of Crimea changed all that as the territorial waters reverted to Russian control. But first, it's stormy waters of a different kind that preoccupy our reporter.
You have to be prepared physically and psychologically. You have to be mentally organized. You need to know what to do to get out of a submerged helicopter if it crashes. This state of preparedness will save you.
The weather's been so bad, our helicopter is the first to reach the main platform for several days. Romania produces most of the natural gas it needs, relying on Russian imports for less than 20%. But growing tensions with Moscow have raised concerns about the stability of that supply. The new offshore discoveries will ease those worries.
Since 10 years we are trying to bring Romania back on the oil map. Now with new technologies we are seeing a bright future further. We can turn this province in the Black Sea to be a net exporter of hydrocarbon for Europe.
Further deep water exploration is continuing, though it's technically difficult and costly and vulnerable to adverse market conditions. And it's no bed of roses for the workers, known as the cowboys of the Black Sea.
In winter, there are really big storms with very strong winds. There are times when you can't move from one part of the platform to another. You have to hold on tight, or you could be blown off the ladder by the wind.
Nevertheless, if these harsh environmental and market conditions can be mastered, some believe Romania could become the EU's central energy hub, lessening Europe's reliance on Russian oil and gas.
Russia is actively trying to control the energy sector of the entire Black Sea region. I think the European Union has to react as a united regional bloc. That's the only solution. No other solution exists.
Russia has just scrapped its South Stream gas pipeline, citing EU objections. It would have crossed the Black Sea into Bulgaria, but Brussels said it was not in line with EU law. An alternative pipeline from Azerbaijan is planned. Additionally, Brussels wants to boost the shipping of liquefied gas across the Black Sea from Georgia to Romania. To facilitate the EU's strategy, Romania is under pressure to urgently upgrade its pipeline interconnections with Bulgaria, Hungary and Moldova. The European Commission wants the pipeline to have a reverse flow capacity so gas can be sent to vulnerable eastern states in the event of Russia turning off the tap. But how ready is Romania to help its neighbours?
Of course, in an emergency case, a small amount can be transported by reverse flow, but not huge quantities. The reverse pipeline and interconnection network are not ready yet. Today, we need to completely remodel the system.
But Romania has a history of innovation in the field. It was one of the first European countries to discover and exploit crude oil on a large scale. Commercial drilling started as early as 1857. The big challenge for the country is that 90% of its crude wells are in what's known as mature condition. Production is decreasing by 10% per year, and its estimated reserves could run out in a decade. The industry is doing its best to prolong the life of these aging wells by using new technologies.
The exploitation of the resources here in the Moreni zone began in 1900-1905. Production is in natural decline because the pressure is falling. But we have introduced new technologies to maintain the pressure at a certain level and thereby increase the lifespan of the crude reserve and to extract the remaining oil.
The dwindling oil resource has given extra impetus to conservation as a factor in the energy security equation. To that end, Ceausescu-era apartment blocks are being kitted out with new insulation materials, a programme heavily funded by the European Union.
The lowering of energy consumption, it will be cut in half. Secondly, the visual aspect is going to change the city, really. And thirdly, it will diminish CO2 levels, and that makes me happy and proud.
At one of the blocks being renovated, we're invited into the home of a retired steelworker. In the warmth of his kitchen, he tells us most of his neighbours wish the work had been carried out years ago.
This is quite an old apartment building. It was constructed in 1962. Those in the upper stories don't get enough heat. In terms of money, the insulation work is going to see a very big difference between what we paid before and what we will pay now. I expect our heating bill to go down 30 to 40%.
The winds of change are blowing through Romania's energy sector. The country has already achieved the EU's goals for 20% of its electricity from renewables, and that's one source that won't be affected by supply concerns.